Good morning and welcome to Rose Red Homestead, where we are in a race with the sun today. It's encroaching on our space. Quickly, it was overcast a little while ago. We didn't think we'd have to bother with it, but oh boy, here it comes again. Today we're going to be doing another one of our food storage meals, and this will be number 10, and it is one pot chicken tortilla soup, and it's very lip-smacking good. Now, as with all of our food storage meals so far in our recipe collection, and that collection is, the link for that is right below this video. It's in our recipes on our homepage, and it will be the top one, and it will say food storage meals 10. And that means all 10 recipes are in that document, so you can download it and print off just the one that you need. I think we're going to take it up to at least 20, and that will give you kind of a free little cookbook on food storage meals. We may even take it beyond that, we will see. But one of the things about these meals that we are doing is that right now in the grocery store you can get any of these ingredients that you want to. And so I am doing it, presenting it to you as if we had, as if the grid were down and we had to rely on our food storage. But if you want to practice this recipe, go to the grocery store, buy what you need and practice it. And then if you like it, then you can start putting up the things that you might need to add this to your recipe-based food storage, which is what we do for our 60 days of meals, which is level 1 food storage, as we have presented many times on this channel. So I just wanted to show you what we're going to be doing first. I have something that we've not done for a really long time. Out in our food storage, we have quart-size containers, quart-size jars of what we call fast beans. We've done several videos on fast beans. What you do is you completely cook the beans, and then you either dehydrate them or freeze dry them so that they are freeze dried after they've been cooked. And now what I'm doing is I am rehydrating them to put in our recipe today, and we have beautifully cooked beans. This instead of a can of black beans. Now in the recipe, when you get it and look at it, you will notice that I try to give several options for the ingredients so that you can go to the store and get them, or if you have prepared them in several ways on your food storage shelf, that's what you can do. So I'm going to use today, and it calls for a half a cup of sweet bell peppers, any color, and so I'm going to do about that much. And then it also calls for 1 large onion, or the equivalent of dried that you have rehydrated. We're going to do all of this onion. So this is the last of this jar of onion. And now I'm just going to get a little water on those because they rehydrate almost immediately. So here we are, both soaking in water, and we'll just let them soak for a moment. Now we're going to be using, it calls for about 2 cups of cooked chicken breast. So I'm going to open up a pint of our chicken, and I'm going to save the liquid and just use it as part of the soup. I'm going to put it right in this bowl, and so I'm just going to drain it into this cup and put the chicken in this bowl. So it looks like we're going to have, about 2/3 of a cup of that chicken juice to use in our soup. So we'll put it over there a little bit so we have it flaked and ready to go in when we need it to go in, which will be shortly. Now the other ways that I have of this chicken is that we have raw chicken breasts that are frozen, and I can use those. We also have chicken that is pre-cooked and already cut in chunks, and I could have used that. So we have the chicken that could go in this soup 3 different ways, and all of those are home processed. You could also just use a can of cooked chicken as well. You'll need about 2 cups, in which that's about what this is. And I already have a couple of, well, it's not quite two, it's about a tablespoon and a half of oil. And while we get ready for that to heat up, I'm now going to drain the peppers because they're ready. And I'm going to drain the onions because they're ready. And this should be ready very shortly. So in go the onions and the peppers. You can hear that sizzle. We're going to put in the garlic. A couple of cloves of minced garlic from a jar. And that just about finishes this one up. Now we're going to add the spices and the salt and pepper. So we're going to start with a teaspoon of cumin. A teaspoon chili powder. Half a teaspoon of garlic powder. And a half a teaspoon of salt, and the same of pepper. Stir this around. And we're going to get the chicken in there. We want that chicken all spiced up with the veggies. Ooh, it's smelling really, really, really good. Now, we recently did a video on chicken broth. So that's 2 cups of chicken broth, still partially frozen. It will thaw as it heats. And I have about another 2 cups of some turkey broth that has been in my freezer for a couple of years. I'm just going to use that. So here's our chicken broth that still needs to thaw, but it won't take it long. Okay. Now, we're going to come back over here and I'm going to show you what I'm doing with the tortillas. I have six 6-inch corn tortillas right here, and I'm just taking my pizza cutter and I'm cutting through all 6 layers so that I just get these little strips of tortillas. Now we're not going to fry these. Some recipes call for them to be pre-fried and all hard like crispy tortilla chips. These are just going to remain raw. Okay, so we have all of our tortilla strips right there. And let's check to see how our soup is doing. Okay. The next thing that is going to go in is the Rotel tomatoes. Now, I'm sure that most of you are very familiar with Rotel tomatoes. They're nice and spicy. These have a little bit of lime juice and cilantro. We're also going to be adding in more cilantro. So I'm going to open those and put them in. But I want to show you an alternative. What if we did not have any Rotel? So in goes the Rotel. So a while back, in fact 4 years ago, we freeze dried. I took 10 cans of Rotel and I dehydrated half of it and I freeze dried half of it. So we have some that will last on our shelf for a really long time. If we run out of cans, which we won't for a while, then I have these that are dried. So this is a good backup as well. And then it calls for a 28-ounce can of petite tomatoes. I don't have a 28-ounce can, but I have two 14.5-ounce cans, so we're good. And now we're going to put in the beans, so I'm going to drain them. So this is the same as a can of beans that have been rinsed and drained. They're going in. And a can of corn with the liquid. And then I'm also going to put the liquid from the canned chicken. So we now have the basis of our soup. And I'm going to toss in the cilantro. This cilantro is going to be cooked with the soup to give its flavor to the soup. But we also have some that we can use for a garnish after we're done. Now we're going to let this simmer with the lid off because I want it to thicken up a little bit. Now, depending on your ingredients, your soup might be a little too thick or a little too thin. If it is too thick, just thin it down with some water. If it is too thick, don't use flour and don't use cornstarch, but rather use cornmeal. Sprinkle a little bit of cornmeal over the top to thicken it up just a little bit. Stir that in and help that thicken because that will give us the same flavor as this tortilla soup. So because these are corn tortillas, we have corn in there, so adding a little bit of cornmeal would just help make it even more corny. So this now has to simmer just like this for about 45 minutes so the flavors can blend. And we're going to do that without the lid. So we will be back when we are ready to show you what happens next. We are back. The first segment had a little bit of a sound glitch. You probably heard some heavy breathing in the background, but we're just not going to say who that was. Are we, honey?
Thank you.
Anyway, the soup is finished, and we did even the next step off camera. The next step was to turn the heat off and put the lid on and just let it sit for 15 minutes, which we have done. So here it is after sitting for 15 minutes, and this is the reason that I wanted to use a cast iron Dutch oven, was because I wanted to hold the heat. So this is not one of those black ones, but this is a decorative cast iron Dutch oven. So here we are with the tortillas. I'm now just going to stir them in. And it will take about 5 minutes for these to soften and absorb the liquid. So we're going to put the lid back on and come back in 5 minutes. All right, here we go. Oh, yes. Look at this. Nice and soft, very softened. Lovely, lovely soup. It's very thick. We don't need to do anything to it. It's fine, just perfect the way it is. So, time for lunch. How many scoops do you want, Jim?
2 is fine.
2?
Yeah.
Okay. There's for you. Oh, that looks so good.
Looks very nice.
And this is just going to be 1 scoop for me. And look at all the leftovers we'll have. This will do us for at least 2 more meals, so this is fantastic. Okay, now, the great thing about this soup is that you can garnish it however you want to, and there are lots of different ways to do that. I'm putting some fresh cilantro on it. Do you want more, honey?
Sure.
Okay. Do you want some sour cream?
Yes, that sounds fine.
And, you know, if the grid goes down and we don't have fresh things available anymore, we have talked about how to make some of these dairy products using powdered milk, so we could do that, or we can just skip them, or we have freeze-dried some of this that we can reconstitute and have. And I don't even need to ask him if he wants cheese, because I know the answer already.
You know me so well.
Is this enough?
Yeah, that should be fine.
Okay, I'm just going to have a little bit.
Ah, now you're getting into the spirit of things.
Okay, so we're going to go and have lunch. And if the grid goes down and we don't have access to fresh things, then we'll just do what we can do. The soup by itself, just as a standalone, is delicious. We don't need to gussy it all up. But since we have the things right now, we might as well do it. So enjoy this recipe. Let us know how it turns out for you. And don't forget that the recipe is linked below. Also, at the end of this video, I'm going to put 2 other videos. One is how to do fast beans, and the other one is the video that we did on dehydrating and freeze drying the rotel. So we will see you again very soon for more videos.